Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who bring you all of the wonderful local products we enjoy. Brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau.
Virginia's 4-H program serves young people across the state. Summer is a very good time in Virginia, even if they're raised indoors. And we visit Roanoke County in this week's County Agricultural Close-Up.
Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. We're coming to you this week from the Airfield 4-H Conference Center in Wakefield, Virginia. 4-H is one of the oldest youth organizations in the United States. Teachers, staff, volunteers, and 4-H alumni all work together to help make the best better for the next generation of 4-Hers.
Once a youth organization solely for rural kids, today's 4-H seeks to give children from all over the opportunity to succeed by learning that they have choices. Whether it's in agriculture, science and technology, or healthy living, 4-Hers from elementary school to high school can pursue their interests and dreams. It's not just about showing cattle or riding horses anymore.
4-H, no matter what you do, whether you do summer camp, whether if you're just going to a program or something like that, is always the diversity. It gives you everything. It gives you the things you never known before. You learn new things that you already know. You learn a little bit deeper into it, and you learn different interests every time that you do something, a different program.
You can still raise an animal and show it through 4-H, even in urban areas. But 4-H chapters across the Commonwealth also focus on topics from building robots to learning consumer skills. 2019 is the first year for VSU's new and growing 4-H club on campus.
So our Collegiate 4-H Club is essentially an organization here on campus that is made up of adult volunteers in the 4-H program, and we essentially do outreach on our campus community as well in the local 4-H programs and even on a statewide level. Our most proud event was our STEAM Fest, which we held back in January. It was the first event that our club did because we were just established this past year, and we did it at the Multipurpose Center at Virginia State University with over 300 young people and adults attending.
A lot of the kids are into gaming. Gaming is the big thing. You know, Fortnite, all of these little video games and different things, showing them that's a part of STEM. That can be a part of agriculture too. And those fun things, bringing the fun to them in an exciting way, hands-on, and showing them those different possibilities.
The National Institute of Food and Agriculture within the U.S. Department of Agriculture is the host organization for 4-H. Most county extension offices include a 4-H staff person to help organize local clubs.
So I think that's one of the biggest things that we do. They learn a lot, but you know, how much of that do you really retain? There are a lot of life skills, a lot of soft skills that we just can't put a number on.
At the state level, programs like the 4-H Congress, 4-H shows, agricultural tours, and summer camps all help young people expand their opportunities.
When we started 4-H, Herman had us doing certain things like public speaking and outreach that allowed us to kind of show our true nature and to kind of get out there early and express ourselves. We were doing programs that raised money for the local youth. We were doing cleanup programs and agricultural programs early on that kind of helped me say, well, anything I decide to do, as long as I am doing it with a purpose, you'll have your hands in it, your health, your heart, and your head. And 4-H really taught me as long as you have those four things, you can kind of pursue whatever you want.
Summertime is a great time to connect with your local 4-H program, either to enroll your child or volunteer. You can find a local chapter and learn more about opportunities in your area at 4-H.org.
4-H grows here!
At Virginia State University in Ettrick, Virginia, I'm Dave Miller.
Founded in 1902, the name 4-H originally came from the organization's first motto, Head, Heart, Hands, and Health. While in the beginning 4-H served mostly rural youth through livestock competitions and corn clubs, today 4-H programs are available everywhere. Many 4-H chapters focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. Participation in 4-H usually peaks in elementary school years. Throughout its history, 4-H has focused on a philosophy of hands-on learning. 4-H was one of the first youth organizations to offer programs for girls, and there used to be separate boys 4-H clubs and girls 4-H clubs. The organization merged those programs 50 years ago.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about tips for growing blueberries from the ground up. Please stay tuned.
Farm Bureau is the insurance provider of choice for farmers. But did you know all Virginians can benefit? In fact, most of our members are not farmers. Members may take advantage of discounts on selected autos, trucks, mowers, and tractors on top of the many insurance offerings. Your $40 membership will easily pay for itself with our many savings options as well. Farm Bureau is made for Virginians. To learn more about the membership advantage, go to vafb.com or visit your local Farm Bureau.
We have 37 parks across the Commonwealth. Every year, 10 million visitors enjoy 600 miles of trails from beaches to mountains, hundreds of cabins and campsites, even yurts. We are Virginia State Parks.
You don't have to wait for warm weather to grow berries anymore. Chris Mullins with Virginia Cooperative Extension visits a berry greenhouse to get the latest research from the ground up.
Well, hi and welcome. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm and we're going to be talking about blueberries. I'm here with Dr. Reza Rafi. He's an extension specialist, a specialist in small fruit. Can blueberries be a good crop for the home gardener?
Absolutely. Blueberry is one of the healthiest fruits, and we recommend for the homeowner to definitely to be able to grow them at home. But there are some challenges growing blueberries, and one of the probably the most important challenge to be able to have the right pH. Blueberry does not grow in high pH, so therefore we need to reduce the pH of the soil, and that requires we use a lot of pine bark to be able to do that. One of the other challenges that we have, Chris, with growing blueberry is birds. Outside growing blueberries is just really very challenging because birds love blueberry for some reason. And then the other challenge that we have growing blueberry outside is the frost. If you have early varieties that they bloom probably mid to late April, you have those late April frosts that could completely wipe out the blooms, and that is one of the challenges that we have. In order to be able to reduce some of the challenges, we're going to go in there and show you a few examples of how to grow blueberries in containers and inside the tunnels.
Well, Reza, I see these beautiful blueberries here. What are you doing different now versus in the field?
Yeah, if you remember, we talked about the pH being one of the limiting factors growing it. If we grow them in containers and we prepare a substrate, the substrate that we prepare to grow blueberry in pots is nothing but pine bark, 80% pine bark and 20% peat moss. We mix that and we use what we call osmotic fertilizer. We use that as a slow-release fertilizer, Osmocote fertilizer, and we use that as fertilizer, slow release, and over time it provide nutrition to our blueberry plant. But quite simple. One of the other reasons that we think it's better to grow them inside in pots is definitely you can protect them against frost.
Okay.
Outside we don't have that much control, but indoor in the tunnel, you could roll up the curtains on the side and provide that protection. And the other thing, Chris, growing blueberry in pots indoor, it really much more effective for bird control. Definitely, birds is a huge problem, and it allows us to protect that. The quality of the fruit also is improved when you have them inside, because you have full control in terms of the uniformity of the plants. It's just enormous, and the yield is as comparable to growing them outside. Fruit quality is much better. One thing which is really interesting, some of the varieties, if you grow them outside with too much rain, the food splits.
Okay.
But indoor, you don't have that problem. You have full control.
So this cover really helps you. Now, if a grower doesn't have something like this, they could still do these containers outside.
Oh, yeah.
If they've got a patio and they wanted to grow some?
Absolutely.
What size of containers are you using here?
The recommended size for commercial production is actually not more than 7 gallons.
Okay.
But what's really interesting is studies that are coming from other countries indicating that blueberry can be grown with no problem for 7 to 8 years.
Oh, wow.
With really good quality and really
that is
considerable yield.
That is great. So a container, even outside on the patio, pruning it a little bit to make sure it doesn't get too big over the years, and this can be a great crop for somebody.
Absolutely. But one thing that the grower or the homeowner need to pay attention is when you have this plant outside in the field, you don't need to be worried about it as much about the water.
Okay.
During the heat of the summer, when you grow them in pots on regular basis, maybe sometime twice during the day, you need to give them a little bit of water.
Okay.
Otherwise you end up losing your...
Definitely something to think about there then. Water, make sure you do that. Well, great. Thank you so much, Reza, for letting us come and see all the blueberries that you're growing.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Well, for more information about blueberry production, contact your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu. Virginia crabs are synonymous with Virginia summers. Chef John Maxwell creates a simple summer salad for us in the heart of the home.
And now, a sneak peek into a day in the life of a Virginia dairy cow. They get their day started. They have some lunch. Get some exercise, spend time with their friends, and then end their day with dairy sweet dreams. Real dairy, real life, real delicious.
When Terrence grills burgers, he knows that just because they look finished on the outside doesn't mean they've reached a safe internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. For burgers and thin meats, the food thermometer should be inserted into the side of the food. Now he is sure his food has gotten hot enough to kill any bacteria present. For more information on using a food thermometer and proper cooking temperatures, visit foodsafety.gov.
Fresh Virginia vegetables and crab. It doesn't get any better than that. Chef John Maxwell has his recipe for the best summer salad ever in the heart of the home.
Hi, and welcome to the Heart of the Home. I'm Chef John Maxwell, and we're here at Meadow Hall and Meadow Event Park in Doswell, Virginia, where every week we get a chance to play with some great Virginia food. And we've got some real classics today. It's summertime, so we've got tomatoes and cucumbers, but it's also a great time for crab, and there's crab coming in off the bay. So we're going to be doing a little crab salad with cucumbers and tomatoes. So let me get started on that. We've got a cucumber here, standard garden variety cucumber. I'm taking the ends off, and then I'm going to peel it, all right, real quickly. Cut it in half down the middle, and scoop out the seeds, because we don't want any of the seeds in here. I wanted to show you this, to show you how easy it is to get this cucumber prepared for a salad. The seeds and skins are a different texture than the flesh, so sometimes you just don't want that contrast in the salad. I'm just going to cut long strips. Then turn them, right, and cut across. You see, I'm never taking the tip of my knife off the cutting board, so I know exactly where the knife is all the time. I'm going to add that to the cucumbers I already diced. I've got the same thing with the tomatoes, but I've got enough of those already diced, so I'm not going to go through that process, but it's a great time of year for tomatoes, and Virginia's got some of the finest. So here we go. I've got Chesapeake Bay crab, I'm going to add some green onion. All right. I'm going to add the tomatoes. And I'm going to add cucumbers. Now, whatever measurement you like, you can use. Now, certainly the recipe that's posted up on the website is going to have some measurements to it, but these are not critical ingredients. It's not like baking powder or salt. These are ingredients that you can add or subtract however you want, and even replace. If you don't like cucumbers, don't use cucumbers. Okay? All right. So we've got that there. Now I'm going to add mayonnaise. Okay, I can't use brand names, but you should always look for Virginia products when you're in the market. So, all right, there's that. Right, I'm going to add a little bit of Dijon mustard. All right, that doesn't need an awful lot. Now, you can't look at this. I washed my hands really, really good before I got started here. So, but just if you're squeamish about hands-on food, just turn your head. I'm just going to mix these around with my hands. All right, now it's there, and I'm going to turn my back on you for a minute while I wash my hands again. So before I go into the food and after I go into the food, I'll wash my hands. All right, so now I've got this all mixed up, and I'm ready to go with plating this thing up. So I've got one more spoon here. And we're just going to scrape this out onto the end here. I've got some basil for plate garnish, and I'm going to pile this so that I hide the cut stems of the basil. So that's ready to go. I'm going to add a little bit more green to that. And I'm going to add a little bit of Tabasco sauce to give some breakup color on the plate, right? And the Tabasco sauce on the plate lets people decide whether they want to use Tabasco sauce on their crab salad or not. So here we go again. It's Virginia crab salad with tomatoes and cucumbers. It's perfect summertime salad. So join us next week on Heart of the Home, where we get to play with great Virginia food.
Recipes from the heart of the home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com, as well as on Chef Maxwell's website at chefjohnmaxwell.com. 2019 is expected to be a banner year for blue crabs in the Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries. Scientists at the Virginia Institute of Marine Science estimate the number of juvenile blue crabs at nearly double last year's count. The number of spawning female crabs is about 190 million, 29% more than last year. And that puts the overall blue crab count at about 600 million for this year, well within the benchmark of a healthy population. Just a year earlier, thousands of crabs died from cold weather. The Chesapeake Bay supplies up to 1/3 of all crabs harvested in the U.S.
You're going to need me. You're going to need all of us. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Roanoke County surrounds the Star City of the South. As Burke Muller tells us in this week's County Agricultural Close-Up, the farmers of Roanoke County have been coexisting with their urban neighbors for decades.
Roanoke County is part of the state's largest urban area in southwest Virginia. Agriculture has been part of the county from the very beginning, with settlers arriving in the 1740s. The city of Roanoke wasn't officially established until 1838, but it was the arrival of the Norfolk and Western Railroad headquarters in 1852 that began the move away from agriculture as the area's dominant industry. The county alone has a population estimated at just over 94,000.
Roanoke has always had a pretty good population base, but as other industries have moved in and there's been shifting, the growth as far as development from both a merchant and residential standpoint has pushed further out into the county.
Roanoke County includes 262 farms, with the average size about 100 acres. The market value of all agricultural products is just over $2.5 million a year. Hay, forage, nursery, and greenhouse crops account for $1.7 million, while cattle, poultry, and a few hogs bring in $825,000. Cattle are the largest livestock sector with about 1,000 head. Most farms here are small, earning less than $2,500 a year. There are a couple of fruit orchards as well. Farmers have had to adjust to the changes in the county's growth.
Agriculture in Roanoke has really shifted in some ways, I think, in response to that growth, but then also to meet the need of that growth. So we've got a lot of operations that grow product here and ship it elsewhere, and then others that have capitalized on being able to sell it locally, work with local food systems, directories and guides, work through the co-ops that are here to pull together small growers and specialty scale products. There's a couple of farmers markets that have come up and grown in the area.
Much of the fine local produce grown in the area is sold at farmers markets found all over Roanoke County. Tim Belcher from nearby Henry County has learned how to cultivate his own niche market by selling geraniums and other horticulture products at the market downtown.
It's basically like a melting pot. We have so many different cultures. We've got people from everywhere, all over the world here. And you can grow anything and sell it to the people that are here because they all want something different. You know, they came from different backgrounds. They're accustomed to having different things, which is a perfect fit for me. You've got to change, you've got to change with the times and grow different things on smaller pieces of property. Create your own niche market. That's the key.
A few families have been farming here for generations. Sheldon Jameson grows all kinds of crops, including apples, peaches, cucumbers, and corn. In another part of the county, a former vegetable grower has transitioned to growing flowers and other plants in greenhouses to sell at Country Corner Farms, his business close by. He and other Roanoke County farmers know how to take advantage of the soil and varying weather.
There's good things about it because of the topography. You can have different climate zones, which makes you can grow all kinds of different crops within a short distance.
Cox and others involved in agriculture stay on the job because they know firsthand the benefits it brings to the local community.
I just think people should try to support local people. Because you're not, whether you go to, you're buying flowers, produce, meats, you're better off in the long run. You're supporting people that are providing for their families and providing job training for people's kids.
Well, if you like to eat fresh produce, if you've never had a fresh peach right from a tree or a fresh tomato right from a vine, well, you don't know what you're missing.
The influx of suburban growth has had its benefits along with the challenges for agriculture in the county. On the plus side, it means more customers with larger incomes to support agricultural enterprises.
I would say the other opportunity that we have is just vistas and location. So just like you see behind us, we've got a beautiful view, and although we don't have a lot of public that come to our property, there's an increasing demand for people who want to be a part of farms, either from the standpoint of a wedding venue or a school field trip or an opportunity to visit something like a corn maze. And so we have people in the area that have really been able to take advantage of that as well.
The producers of Roanoke County are working hard to adapt to suburban growth and determined to keep agriculture alive in this mountain community. In Roanoke County, I'm Burke Moeller reporting.
We're so glad you could join us to celebrate all the bounty that Virginia has to offer. From your home to your garden to our wide open spaces, we're proud to say that this is real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching and make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart. Oh,